Thailand really that cheap? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. From my content here on YouTube, you can see that I recently made a move from America to Bangkok, Thailand. I just want to talk about my experience here so far in Thailand. Like Thailand, is Thailand really as cheap as people like to make it seem? Other things that I've seen influencers or people on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram discuss about Thailand that I feel are different from my experience here so far. First things first, is Thailand cheap? No, Thailand is not cheap, okay? And I'm really tired of people saying that. A lot of people that have talked to me that still live in America, like, oh, you moved to Thailand, I heard everything out there is super cheap. That is not true, okay? That is a lie before God. Everything is not cheap in Thailand. Now, Thailand is more affordable than America, and that is why so many people are moving over here to Thailand or just out of America in general to other countries, because it's cheaper to live abroad right now than it is to live in America. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard and unbearable it is to live in America right now. Even if you make a decent amount of money, it is becoming extremely hard to live in America. People don't understand that we are about to see a wealth gap like we've never seen before. And not to get too far off topic, but America has set the standard for the rest of the world for a very long time. And even though that's changing, like the value of the dollar is going down, America is still technically the standard for the rest of the world. America is going to usher in a system where there is only going to be wealthy people and poor people. They are going to, or they're trying to completely eradicate the middle class. And they're doing it, they're slowly but surely doing it right now. The prices of everything in America continue to increase, but wages are not increasing. And that's the perfect way to start boxing people out. That is the perfect way to start separating the rich from the poor, by making things more expensive and almost making it like a competition of who can afford this. You know what I'm saying? If you can afford this, the more we take prices up, if you can afford it, then you are considered one of the rich. You consider the wealthy people. If you can't afford it, you just gonna be poor. If you can't afford $12 eggs, you just won't eat. You know what I'm saying? If you can't afford $10 bread, a $10 loaf of bread, you're just not gonna eat. It's either you're wealthy or you're poor. And that's the system that unfortunately America is ushering in, and eventually the rest of the world is going to also usher in this same system. Which is why, depending on your age, our parents were able to have homes, they were able to have multiple cars, they were able to support children, all off of less money than what we're making now, because a middle class existed. There was still a tier in between. You wasn't poor, you know what I'm saying? You wasn't poor, you wasn't struggling, but you also wasn't the richest people, but you were able to live comfortably. That's what the middle class was. It doesn't make sense that a lot of us are bringing in a lot more money than our parents were in the 70s, 80s, 90s, but we still are not able to live. We still can't afford things without having multiple jobs, full-time jobs, having side hustles. Like, things don't add up. It does not add up why I can't afford to live and my parents could live amazingly 2 or 3 decades ago off of a less money. With all of that being said, Thailand is still way more affordable than the US. However, with the large amount of expats that are coming over to Thailand and other countries, it is slowly but surely taking the prices of things up. But let's talk about what is cheap in Thailand, because some things are cheap. Food is cheaper in Thailand. Now, if you want American style food, American style breakfast, American style cuisine, that is going to cost you more money. And honestly, some of the Thai food in more touristy areas can actually get a little bit expensive as well. Now, most of the street food is also very cheap. That's where you see people eating stuff for like $3 to $5. Me personally, I don't eat the street food because, no shade, but like the street food kind of sits out. And you got to think about like food sitting out all day in the sun, and then, you know, the flies get on it. People are walking by coughing and sneezing and talking and reaching over the food. It's just not my vibe personally. But I do know people that eat the street food and they're fine. They love it. Me personally, the street food is not for me, but it is very cheap to eat the street food. You just, you know, have to be careful. Like ordering Grab for breakfast, lunch, and dinner is cheap, it's convenient, it's fast. However, like I said, those little, you know, every day, those little $5, $6 transactions, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, they definitely add up. But at the end of the day, it's still cheaper than like DoorDash or using Uber Eats in America. And it's a lot more convenient, it's a lot more efficient. It's just way better than using that. So while it's cheap, you know what I'm saying, you still have to be very cautious of how often you are using Grab. Something else that I consider cheap in Thailand is going to be the transportation. Taking the train is a very cheap way of transportation here in Thailand. However, the trains don't run all night. I believe the last train here stops at like 11:30, 12, like midnight time. And then the next one picks up again in the morning at 6 a.m. So while it's convenient, it's not something that you can ride all night. You cannot ride their train system all night. Also, for me, I prefer not to ride the trains just because every single time that I have gotten on the train, it has been like overly crowded, So it's not really my preferred method of transportation. As someone who didn't live in a city where we use trains as major transportation, I think that's a part of the reason why I don't really enjoy getting on the trains that much. They have a problem with it. The train cost is usually around like 65 baht, which is about $2 USD. So it's very, very convenient, and it's also cheap. The living spaces in Thailand, is it cheap? Yes and no. I have noticed during my time here, doing my search here, that the lower the prices are for an apartment, or they call them condos here. Me personally, I did not want to live in a shoebox because I spend a lot of time at home. No matter where I am, my home is considered my sanctuary. So I needed to be comfortable wherever I was living. I needed to have enough space. I needed to be able to stretch out, stretch my legs. You know what I'm saying? I did not want a space where I could barely turn around in. Now, my rent is considered expensive for Thailand. However, I do have a little bit more space than average. And if you are a person that wants to live with a little bit more space, then be prepared to come out of a little bit more money. Another thing too is if you want a newer building, right? So if you don't want to be in one of the older buildings, if you want more luxury, if you want certain amenities, that's also going to take the price of your condo up. Personally, for me, it does not make sense to come over to Thailand and be paying upwards of $1,000 for rent. In my opinion, you could stay, you could have stayed in America to pay thousands of dollars of rent, because if your rent, to me, in my opinion, if your rent is pushing upwards of $1,000 and over, that's not even factoring in all of your other monthly expenses, your utilities, stuff like that. So in my opinion, I would not come over here and pay $1,000+ for rent in Thailand. You might as well stay in America, okay? My rent is expensive, but it's not $1,000. And if it was $1,000, I would not be here, okay? I feel like a lot of these influencers who like want to sell y'all something, want to sell y'all an ebook on how to move, want to sell y'all a course on how to move, they get over here and embellish a little bit. They spread this false narrative that you come over here and you just live like a king and a queen, and I just feel like that's not true. Living over here is a lot simpler. You don't have a lot of the pressures and the anxieties that comes with living in America, but it does come with its downsides as well. I was actually curious about how the Thai people feel about all of these expats coming over here, and I was fortunate enough to have a one-on-one conversation with a Thai person, and we were able to kind of discuss it a little bit. A lot of them don't really understand why we want to come over here. Like, they look at America as, you know, America is like the land of dreams and the land of the free and the home of the brave. And it's like, no, it's really not like that. So yeah, that was just like a little bit that I wanted to touch on. So far though, I would say that I do like Thailand. I'm still adjusting because it's a huge adjustment just moving from America to a completely different country where I don't yet know the language. I'm often the only person that looks like me in the room, and so that does make me a little uncomfortable at times. But I do feel safe here in Thailand. I love the views and the scenery and the weather. The food, of course, you guys, is a 10 out of 10. Like, the Thai people, one thing they can do is cook some food, and one thing they can do is eat. And as a foodie, like, Thailand is like a food lover's dream. So I love the food. I love that getting around is pretty easy, and I love that it's more affordable. Am I gonna be in Thailand forever? I don't know. I'm kind of just open to going wherever God takes me on this journey. But for now, I am in Thailand, and I am just trying to adjust as best as possible. Trying to get the swing of things. I am trying to thrust myself into the culture as much as possible. If you have positive or any helpful advice about living abroad, would love to hear. And if you are led to subscribe to my channel, please do. Please like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.